Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Priyanshi Agrawal and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now we are going to see today's Lead Code Daily Challenge, which is largest divisible subset. Okay, so let's see what is this question and how we can solve this. So in this question, you are given a set of distinct positive integers, nums, and you need to return the largest subset answer such that every pair answer I, answer j of elements in this subset should be divisible by each other. And if there are multiple solutions, return any one of them. Okay, so in the question, you have been given with a nums vector with distinct positive integers, and you need to return the largest subset such that all the elements of that subset divides each other. So let's say if you have subset something like this 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2 is divisible by 1, 4 is divisible by 2, and 4 is also divisible by 1. So the largest subset will become 1, 2, 4. So you need to return the largest subset from this nums in which all the elements should divide each other. Okay, so very basic brute force approach for this question which comes to our mind is that subsets. Okay, so what we can do, we can just get all the subsets of the nums. Cool. So taking out all the subsets of the nums, we go to 2 to power n complexity, because for every element we will have two choices: either we can take that element in the subset or not take that element. So taking out all the subsets of a nums, we take complexity of 2 to power n, and then checking whether for each subset, let's say this 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say one subset will be 1, one subset will be 1 comma 2, one subset will be 1 comma 3, one subset will be 1 comma 4, and so on. So for checking for each subset, that whether all the elements of that particular subset divides each other or not, it will take n square complexity. So this will become the time complexity of our brute force approach, or it might get reduced to 2 to power n into n in some way, and up to 2 to power n. I will tell you later that how we can reduce it to this one, but for now the time complexity will be 2 to power n into n square, which is not going to work, as you can see here. 2 की power 10 की power 3 into 10 की power 3 की power 2 is obviously going to give you TLE. So this is not going to work. Okay, so let's see. In this question, from the constraints, you can see that either n square or n log n complexity will work. Cool. Okay, so let's see how we can optimize the time complexity for this question. So let's say we have some vector, let's say 1, 8, 4, 16, 7, 2. Cool. Okay, so first what we need to do, we need to check that whether, let's say if you have some vector a, b, c, so you need to check whether a is divisible by b or b is divisible by a, right? So whenever this will, when this will be 0, when we are dividing the largest element from the smallest element, right? Then this can be 0. I am not saying that this will always be 0, this is always true. No, I am not saying that. I am saying that this can be 0 only in the case when we are dividing the largest element by the smallest element. Okay, so one thing, can we say that, can we solve this array so that we don't need to check for both the cases, either a modulo b and b modulo c? Then only we need to check for one case, that will be b modulo a, because b will be greater and a will be smaller if we solve this array, right? So let's say if we solve this array 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 16, right? Okay, so this is our sorted nums now. Okay, but what we can do to solve this? Okay, let's say if we check for whether 4 is divisible by 2. Yes, 4 is divisible by 2. So can we just consider 4 comma 2 as a subset? No. Why? Because it might be the case that 2 is also divisible by some other element. Then we also need to consider that 1 in our subset. But how? Okay, so let's see. If b is divisible by a and c is divisible by b, so can we say that c is also divisible by a? Can we say that? Okay, so let's see how. And so if b is divisible by a, so can we write b is equals to a into k, right? Obviously then b is equals to a into k. So that in this expression C modulo B, so let's replace B with A modulo A into K, right? So let's say if K way goes to this side, then you can see that C is also divisible by A. So from this expression, what we can write that if B is divisible by A and C is divisible by B, then C will also be divisible by A. Okay, so see here, if 4 is divisible by 2 and 2 is divisible by 1, then obviously 4 will also be divisible by 1. From here we can say that 4 will also be divisible by 1. So in this way, we are checking that whether 4 is divisible by 2 or not. Then the elements from which 2 is related will automatically get counted in the 4. Let's see how. So you can see that this is somehow relating to longest increasing subsequence, because in the longest increasing subsequence also, what we need to do? We need to sort the array and get the longest increasing subsequence. What is the subsequence? Let's say in this we can't sort this because we need to find the subsequence. Subsequence means we can take 1, 8, 16. This is the longest increasing subsequence. We can skip the elements, but the order of the elements should remain same. And in this question, what we can do? We can sort this element. And then what we need to do? We need to get longest, let's say, divisible subsequence. What we need to do? We need to check whether they are divisible or not. So this is a kind of longest increasing subsequence. So in the longest increasing subsequence, we create an LIS to track whether that is the longest increasing subsequence or not. Similarly, for this also, we can create an LIS vector to track whether that is the longest divisible subset or not. Okay, so let's see one with the above example. So let's say 1, 2, 4, 7, 8 or 16. Cool. Okay, so let's see if we can create an LIS vector initially, which is always be initialized with 1, because every single element can create a subset. So let's say if we are initializing it with 1. So let's say if we start we will start iterating with I is equals to 2. I is equals to 1, because we need to check for the elements before I. So that's why we will start from I equals to 1, because if we start from I equals to 0, then obviously there are no elements before 0 thing is. So we will start from I is equals to 1, and we will check whether 2 is divisible by 1. Yes, 2 is divisible by 1. So what we will do? We will simply update LIS of I with LIS of j. It means right now our j pointer is at this index. So what we will do? We will simply update this with 1 plus 1, which will become 2. Okay. So now let's check for another index. Now our I is pointing to this and j is pointing to this index, right? So now we will check whether 4 is divisible by 2. Yes, 4 is divisible by 2. So what we can do? We will simply update our LIS of I with LIS of j plus 1. So let's update it with 3. Okay, cool. Now our j is pointing to this index. Let's check whether 4 is divisible by 1. Yes, 4 is divisible by 1. So let's update it with 1 plus 1. Oh, but it's already 3. It means we are already at maximum value. So we don't need to update it. Okay, so now our j will go out of bound. So let's increment our I. Now our I is pointing to this. J is pointing to this. Okay, so 7 is divisible by 4. No. Now j is pointing to this. 7 is divisible by 2. No. Now j is pointing to this. 7 is divisible by 1. Yes. So let's update it with 1 plus 1, which will be 2. Now our j will go out of bound. So we will increment our I. And now our I is pointing to this index. J is pointing to here. 8 is divisible by 7. Now let's decrement j. 8 is divisible by 4. Yeah. So let's update it with 3 plus 1, 4. Now our j is pointing to this index. 8 is divisible by 2. Yes, let's update it. 2 plus 1, 3. Yeah, we are already at maximum. Now let's decrement j. 8 is divisible by 1. Yes. So update it 1 plus 1. No, it's already at maximum value. So we will not update it. So now let's move our I pointer ahead. Now I is pointing to this, j is pointing to this. 16 is divisible by 8. Yes. So let's update 16. So let's update LIS of I with 4 plus 1. Now similarly we are already at maximum, so we are not going to update it. If we are going to decrement j, so in this way we have got the length of the longest divisible subset. So what benefit did you get from LIS is that when you're checking for 4 is divisible by 2 or not, then for the subset of 4 comma 2 you didn't need to check for all other elements, because you already know that 2 is divisible by 1 as well, so let's count automatically in that subset. Okay, but in the question you have been given that you need to return the subset and not the length of the subset. Okay, so here you are getting the maximum length of that subset. So how you can get the subset? So one thing you can do is that while traversing in this array for the LIS, you can just keep track of that vector. Not track of that vector means keep updating that vector. Let's say initially at this point it was 1 only. Okay, now at this point when we saw that, okay, let's create the LIS once again, then you will get a better idea. Let's say if initially we are at 1, okay, now they all are initialized with 1 1 1 1 1. Cool. Now initially we are at this 2, okay, now this was only 1. So if we see that 2 is divisible by 1, then when updating this LIS, then we will also take this vector from which it is divisible and add our current element in that vector. Okay, now we will see 4 is divisible by 2. Okay, we will update it with 2 plus 1 3 and take that vector and keep our current element in that vector. Okay, now let's check for 7. 7 is divisible by only 1, so we'll update it and take this vector and keep our current element in that vector. Similarly for 8, 8 will be divisible by 4, so we will keep this, take this vector 1 2 4 and push our current element in that vector. Similarly for 16, 16 is divisible by 8, so we will take out this vector 1 2 4 8 and push 16 in that vector. So what we are doing here, we are updating our LIS and also updating our vector, but in this case the space complexity will also be big of n square, because for every element we are creating a new vector and each vector can end up storing up to maximum of n elements. So this space complexity will be big of n square. This we're going to work, no issues. But do we really need to update this vector? Do we really need to keep track of all of these vectors? No, because we can keep track of the element from which it is coming. Let's say our vector is 1 2 4 7 8 and 16. We know that for 16 it is coming from 8, for 8 it is coming from 4, for 4 it is coming from 2, for 2 it is coming from 1. So can we just keep track of these indexes, and then after the end of this LIS filling we can just take out that indexes and create our final longest divisible subset? Yes, we can. So let's see how. So we have vector 1 2 4 7 8 and 16, right? And now we will have LIS and let's say previous index. We will create a previous index vector which will say that yeah, this element was coming from this element. Okay, so we will initialize our previous element vector with -1, because initially no element is coming from anywhere, right? And our LIS is initialized with 1. Cool. Yes. So now it's initially we are at this index, so 2 is coming from, let's say I will also index these elements 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so 2 is divisible by 1, so we will update it, and we will also say from which index it is getting updated. From 0 index it is getting updated. Okay, now for 4, 4 is divisible by 2, so we will update it, and from which index it is getting updated? From 1 it is getting updated, so let's say +1. For 7 it was getting updated from 1, so we will update it, and the index is 0, so we will update the index to 0. Now for 8, 8 is divisible by 4, so we will update it. 4 is at index 2, so we will update the previous index to 2. 16 is divisible by 8, so we will update it, and we will update the index to 4 because 8 is at index 4. Okay, Now by the end of this loop, we will know the maximum length and the index at which our maximum length is. So max length is 5 and index at which our max length we got is 5, is also 5. Cool. So what we will do, we will simply take that element, we will simply take that index and check for nums. Okay, so first we will take the element at that index. Let's say LIS is 5 and which is at index 5. So first we will take 16 and now we will take from where 16 is coming. It is coming from the index 4. Okay, so we will take in the element at index 4, which is 8. Okay, now from where the element at index 4 is coming, we will check in the previous index 4. It is coming from 2. Okay, so we will take 4. Okay, now from where this 4 is coming, it is coming from 1. Okay, so we will take this 2. Now from where this 2 is coming, it is coming from 0. Oh, so we will take 1. Now from where this is coming, minus 1. Oh, so it means it is the first element. So this is our final longest divisible subset. Okay, so now let's try code this so that you will get a better idea. So what we are doing, let's initialize our code is completely similar as what I have explained in the diagram. Okay, so let's say if we will initialize our two vectors LIS with length n and initialize with 1 and previous index also with length n, initialize with -1 and two variables with max length equals to 1 and what we need to do, we need index as -1. Cool. Max length as 1 because each element can have one length, so that's why. So now let's start iterating in our vector with I equals to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus with j equals to 0, j is less than I, j plus plus. Cool. Now we will check. Let's sort this array so that we don't need to check for both of them. So sort of nums of I dot begin comma nums dot end, not I. Cool. Now we will check if nums of I, because I is the forward index and j is the backward index. Nums of I is divisible by nums of j and LIS of I is less than LIS of j plus 1, only then we will update it, because if we are already at the maximum length, then why do we need to update it? So LIS of I will get updated with 1 plus LIS of j and previous index of I will get updated with j, right? And what we need to do, we need to also update this max length and index variables, so that we, by the end of this loop, we know that what is our maximum length of the LIS. So LIS of I is greater than max length, then we will simply update our max length with LIS of I, and at which index we are getting is I. Okay, now while index is not equals to -1, then what we will do, let's initialize index also with 0, because otherwise if we didn't get into this loop, and because let's say if we initialize it with -1 and we didn't get into this loop in the case when the size of nums is only 1, so in that case our answer is not going to be 0, our answer is going to be that single element from the vector, right? So that's why we are initializing it with 0. Okay, and now what we need to do, we need to create a result vector, and let's say we will simply push that element in the result, which is nums of idx, and we will store the previous index in our idx. Cool. Now we will simply return the result. So let's try run this. Yeah, it's working fine. Let's try submitting it. Yeah, it's working fine. So the time and space complexity of this approach is going to be, time complexity is going to be n square, and this space complexity is going to be big of n, as we are just creating those vectors. Let's say this list of index, previous index, and result. or you can say 3n or 2n. So it is obviously going to be equivalent to big O of n only. So the time and space complexity of this approach is this, and this is going to work obviously because our constraints are 10 to the power 3 and it will be 10 to the power 3 to the power 2. And in the in the brute force, why did I said that you can reduce this n square to n? Because by sorting the array, you will not need to check for all the pairs. You can just check for, let's say, A, B, C. You just need to check for C with B, B with A, and then you can reduce this complexity to n instead of n square. So yeah, that's all for this question. I hope you get it, but if you still have any doubts, then you can post in the comment section. I will surely try to answer them. This was a little tricky question. Trying to relate it to longest increasing subsequence was the difficult part of this question. But yeah, do let me know in the comments if you have any doubts. So yeah, see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and stay curious.